They hacked his email. They learned who his vendors were.
Right.
We're going to send from his vendor to him a $100,000 invoice from some of the work that was done.
Sure.
Dude, he paid $100,000 to this bad actor.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Especially for like small business.
And he's a small business, and it really hurt.
That's a day fucker, dude.
Yeah.
That'll end your career.
Dude, I've seen,
Poor dude, that sucks. I don't mean to laugh, but it
yeah.
sucks. My next guest protects small and mid-sized businesses from cyber criminals and cyber crime, so those businesses can actually focus on what matters and what they do without any danger. And in fact, in some cases, and I'm sure he'll share, companies could lose their entire business. I mean, IT security is a big deal. I don't think a lot of small companies take it as seriously as they should. There's so much sophistication in emails, like you want a thing, or hey, something from the CEO. If you get hacked, there's these really clever, really dangerous ways, and I'm sure Brad will share them. Even text messages now, it's like, hey, so and such, click here, right? And it could totally screw up an entire company. And if you work for a company that's big and you have a lot of sensitive information, a law firm, a CPA, anything financial, right? That's big problem. So my guest has been in the IT industry for over 2 decades. He's the founder of DigitalBrainz, a 23-year-old company built from the ground up right here in Florida, which is awesome. And he works directly with business owners, law firms, these businesses that cannot afford to have this go wrong, right? So that's important. Welcome, Brad Savage.
I appreciate you having me,
Yeah,
man.
cheers. Thanks for being here.
Cheers.
I do want to say something that I've already said to you, but I want to say it live. You have the most badass name. The first time I met you, I was like, Brad Savage. It's a kick-ass name. It reminded me, and I think I said this to you, I was like, if you were in a band, right? Like an 80s London rock band, and be like, hey, I'm Brad Savage, and this is my mates. Golf,
yeah.
Right? It just feels very, were you ever in a band?
I feel like no band, no musical talent whatsoever.
We all got it.
Yeah.
It's a dope name.
Yeah, what more cowbell? It's probably my my instrument of choice.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I didn't do the name justice because decade or so ago, all the songs came out using the name Savage, and then you see all the T-shirts, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's been mine for way longer than all these people are making money.
And now you can't do it because you just look at
exactly,
poser.
Exactly. I'm just a copycat.
Yeah, it's a strong name.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I get compliments quite a bit from the name, and
it commands respect. Like I said, even though I'm not saying that you're not intimidating looking, just by name alone, be like, oh, dude, don't fuck with that dude.
Right.
His name's Brad Savage.
Savage.
Right. Not how I felt about Fred Savage, though.
With the curly hair.
Yeah, the dude from, that was his brother from Boy Meets World.
Oh, that's
but the
right,
dude from
that's
the
right.
Wonder Years, right?
Wonder Years,
So
yeah,
growing
Wonder
up watching Wonder Years. Not a threat.
Not the same guy.
Didn't feel it, but when I heard Brad Savage, I was like, oh, that's pretty tough.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so your company's based in Florida, but you were born in Orlando.
Yep.
Awesome.
Born in Orlando. I was about 8 years old. Moved to Tampa, and grew up in Land O'Lakes actually. So I'm a local, and went through elementary education here. Elementary school, middle school, high school, and was out of state for a couple years for college. But otherwise, I've lived in Florida my entire life. When I was in high school, my parents moved out to Dade City, but it was more West Dade City. So it's technically southern Brooksville, and it was out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Driving 30-something minutes to school, and there's nothing in between. No gas station, no grocery store, etc.
Right.
So that doesn't sound normal for Pasco County, but I feel it's my preference would be flip-flopped. When I was younger, I wanted to be close to everybody and everything.
Right.
And now as I got older, I'd rather that 30-minute drive. Even though that's not where I choose right now. I'm right here in the heart of everything. But
Right. So scenarios matter, right? So if there's a zombie apocalypse, I want to be out in the sticks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If, God forbid, there's an emergency and one of my kids needs emergency care, I want to be
right
close.
next to the
I want to be,
hospital.
I want to
Right.
be within 5 minutes, right?
Right,
So,
right.
so I guess it just matters.
I feel that.
So baseball, your biggest thing was baseball, yeah? Growing up, baseball
growing
was
up,
life.
Man, it was life.
Yeah, and you ump now. You're an umpire.
I do. Yeah. So growing up, that was my sport.
Yeah.
I was 4 years old playing with 6-year-olds, and
Really?
just
always good at it?
I was die hard. Yeah, I was, just I'm pretty sure I had a ball in my hand, just like my kids when they were born. I had a ball in my hand, so it was always something I wanted to do. And funny enough, like I grew up all playing that all through Little League, high school, etc. But I ended up going to college for soccer, not even baseball. My friends convinced me when we were in middle school.
Or football.
Or football.
For those that
yes. I was fast. Yeah. I'm not a big person. I wasn't a big kid. I wasn't hitting home runs. They were like, yeah, but you can run really well. You might stink with your feet, good with your hands, stink with your feet, but we'll teach you the feet. So yeah, around 13 years old, my friends recruited me to come out. I showed to my first soccer practice in baseball cleats, and they're like, "Dude, you look like a football player with those blocks on your feet." So I didn't know anything.
Right.
But fast forward, and by the time high school came around, I got lucky. I had some friends that they were being recruited. And the coach happened to come to one of our games and say, "Who's that guy?" Also,
he's fast.
Yeah.
Why is he still wearing baseball cleats?
Right. Again, he's not that good at soccer, but he hustles. Like he's one of those guys who just
good
runs.
Attitude.
Right. He's a positive attitude. So he, So they, I got an invite up to a school in South Carolina, and a couple of my buddies and I all went up there together. That was kind of cool.
Did you start getting into IT then? Like you were already stoked on it in high school? Like how did you get into
Honestly, IT was, we always had a computer in the home, believe it or not. You and I are similar age, so you can kind of look back as a kid and that wasn't necessarily normal. And my dad worked in the security side of computers. And so we always had a computer. So what I did, I was on the DOS playing games. Just by coincidence, the school I went to for college had an internet computing. Only degree in the entire nation with that. So I was like, okay, well that's attractive. Like I'll go do that. And so some of my friends and I just took that path. And ended up finishing there. I finished actually at USF with the Management Information Systems, which is the business side of the computers, which I found out very quickly that I preferred the business side. A friend his parents worked for a builder and they needed an IT person, so they hired me on as a full-time IT manager. That was kind of my first
gig,
big gig. I had a lot of, it's like everybody else. I had 1,000 jobs throughout college and high school, but and then I knew things. I self-taught, finishing school all at the same time, and then the starting DigitalBrainz was fun. Like we did it as just a billing tool at first. We can do some consulting,
right? And
so we needed a way to build the companies that we consulted,
right.
Too. And then the bubble burst in the housing industry.
Yeah.
And
08.
Yeah. So it was really cool, though. I really, I thank them every time I see them because the people who own the company I work for, they kind of, brought me in the door and they said like, hey, this is what's going on. You've got like 6 months.
Okay.
And
better than most people.
Yeah, and they weren't letting people go. They were closing their doors.
Right.
Because they were small. They built a good volume, but they just were a small company. So they just said, hey, and they were at the point, I believe, I'm assuming, in their careers. So if you're watching this, sorry for making assumptions. But yeah. Yeah.
We'll cut that. No, I'm just kidding. No, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume they're getting out of they're at the end of their career anyway. So
Sure.
they closed the doors, and it gave me an opportunity to say, hey, well, instead of keeping me on as a employee, why don't you just outsource your IT department to DigitalBrainz, and it'll be me and anybody else that I can find to help support, which ended up being my brother. Actually joined forces at the time, and he's way more technical than I am.
Sure.
If you look at the DigitalBrainz, he's probably got the way more technical brain.
He's more the brains. You're more the digital.
Yeah.
I hear it.
But yeah, so that's kind of how DigitalBrainz got started too. That was our first. Besides some website things on the side, we used to do some website design. Well, I did, and basic SEO type work, and
so did you design your website?
Not the current one.
Okay, got it.
The last three versions of it,
Sure.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My wife and I just rewatched again that movie, The Big Short. Great fucking movie. Watch it. 2008. Point is, back in 2008, a lot of people were freaking out. People were losing their houses, losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Livelihoods were shook. But you go, I'm going to start a business. And I think that's rad. I think that's cool. It takes a certain kind of person to be in the thick of chaos and kind of phoenix that thing and say, well, fuck it, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really cool.
It was a good opportunity, and it helps that you have kind of a built-in client that was willing to. I mean, this is kind of the conversations we have even still with clients, especially ones that traditionally want to hire. And I don't want to take away jobs because we create jobs by it.
Sure.
But companies outsourcing their IT department to us instead of having a full-blown person on staff, which you have employees, like
Sure.
employee costs more than just their salary.
Right.
So when you're paying for a service, people outsource their marketing department to you.
Right.
And so it's the same concept back then. So we were saving this builder on cost. Mine, it happened to be,
Sure.
for a flat service fee.
Sure.
And then we were able to kind of approach the similar companies in the same situation,
Right.
where they're like, "Ooh, we don't need." And it was good timing, right? Because the IT industry used to be, back then, was all break fix. So we sat there and waited for the bat phone to ring for something bad to happen.
Right.
Back in the late 2000s is kind of when the more proactive approach started. So tools were created for us to be able to do things proactively and routinely to protect systems and services. But and so that kind of helped us grow, right, and approach companies that when we said, you've got these 4 people on staff, like, how about cut the cost down to one of them and just outsource to an IT department. And by the way, at this point today, we sometimes say, like, hey, let us evaluate your staff.
Yeah.
Because we'd be happy to bring people on board.
Yeah, trim some fat for you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't like to take away jobs, but it's opportunities come, and companies approach us in that situation.
What I'm seeing a lot of right now, and it's sad because I think a lot of these people in these situations don't see it, is that with AI, people are training themselves out of jobs. And I'll give you an example, especially in the tech world, right? So early adopters are going to crush because depending on the industry, CEOs or C-suite people, they get ChatGPT, but they don't understand that they're trying to friggin' put mining on the moon. Like, they're trying to put servers on the moon.
Right.
And an AI network ring, like Saturn, like the planet Saturn. They're trying to put AI satellites, like Elon and all the people. They're up to shit.
Right.
They're discovering and solving like new quantum physics, and people are like, "How to write blog, please? Can you write this blog?" Like, we're dum-dums. If a company has, let's say, 15 employees, right? How exposed are they today, right now? And does it matter what industry? Are there some industries that are more exposed or maybe more targeted than others? I think that'd be a better way to ask that question.
Honestly, the answer is, in general, no.
Okay.
Because we all have data that's valuable to us.
Sure.
Right. Even if you aren't regulated by, like, HIPAA, you're not in the medical industry where you have PHI, personal health information.
Sure.
That you're required to protect.
Sure.
We all communicate digitally. Mm-hmm. The humans are the vulnerable point at this point. So if you have, you said 15 employees, if you're the owner, you are going to bed at night sleeping, like, thinking about, like, hey, my vulnerabilities, or like the way I interact with my data needs to be this way in order to prevent outside bad actors.
Sure.
But if I have try not to, like, pick a specific role in a company, but
use my company. If I have a production assistant, which is usually like the lower tier person, that's on a company computer on my company network.
Exactly. What do they have access to?
If it's Tyler's on his looking at his Grindr account or something, or whatever, whatever he's up to over there, that's dangerous.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because what information they have access to?
Sure.
That's the vulnerability. Like, that's the point of vulnerability for your company. Right. And if that person is not only have, like, the tools and security around the email access they use, their machines.
Right.
If they don't have the education, we talk about education with AI, et cetera, they don't have the education of how to protect themselves and how to protect your company, they're a liability.
Right. We'll use the same 15-person company as an example, okay? What kind of stuff You say information, but like specifically, what are you seeing that people want? Like, what are these bad actors or this spam or this malicious, what are they looking for? Are they looking for credit card information? Are they looking for socials? Are they looking for all the above? Like, what are you seeing day in, day out?
Yeah, the ransomware is still a thing. Ransomware is where somebody basically gets into your systems, they encrypt your data and say, give me $50,000 and you can have all your information back.
Sure.
And there's ways to recover from that without paying the bad actors, that money. But those still exist, but it's a lot easier to recover from because now you can tell the bad actors to go F off and say like, whatever. You don't have my data, you just locked it. So my IT company's badass, DigitalBrainz. But
DigitalBrainz is on it.
Right. They
by the way, we're calling the FBI.
Right. But we have ways to recover from your ransom, Sure. But the people is where I see, especially recently, obviously, okay, you talk about AI, right? Uh-huh. All the bad actors are getting way more sophisticated. They're able to automate things. They're able to social engineer and without doing much, research as a human. They have systems and tools doing it for them. So the people are the target. Nowadays, that's not difficult to. All you're doing is a password, right?
Right.
Only thing protecting you is a password.
There's no 2A
right,
or anything.
Right. Yeah. So his email was hacked. Somebody watched his email. You could tell for months because the communication that went in and out was months old that actually that the bad actors used.
Right.
They waited and said, ooh, this guy does like this huge project every like couple months.
Right.
We're going to wait till we see some communication on that huge project. And then we're going to send his client, his vendor, or excuse me, we're going to send him, not even from his email. They hacked his email. Right. They learned who his vendors were.
Right.
We're going to send from his vendor to him $100,000 invoice from some of the work that was done.
Sure.
Dude, he paid $100,000 to this bad actor, and that was pretending. They sent a fake invoice that mimicked the vendor, $100,000. He called me. I was like, bro, like, did you talk to the bank? He goes, yeah, they told me I was SOL. I was like, well, then you're SOL. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't, there's nothing you can do. Yeah. You sent the money. It was a wire, like a wire transfer. You sent the money. Like, you just lost $100,000.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
Especially for like small business.
And he's a small business and it really hurt. Yeah, it really hurt.
That's a day fucker, dude. Yeah. That'll end your career.
Dude, I've seen,
that sucks. I don't mean to laugh, but it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks
he recovered and his business is successful.
God,
like he does he's doing fine, but like that's a hit that, not many businesses can take.
Sustain.
And
sucks,
he necessarily didn't impact his image with his clients, but we do have. I've been a part of, unfortunately, some conversations with insurance companies for the cyber liability policy and their legal staff. I've represented some now who are clients but weren't at the time. People who had breaches, same thing. Their email got hacked. This one was was a law firm, and somebody was watching. You could tell they were watching for months. And again, they had a big transaction coming up, and one of their staff members' email was compromised, and one of their clients' closing was coming up. The bad actor sent a wire request to the client. Again, it was like a $500,000 request.
Oh, it makes my butthole my butt cheeks are so
only
tight.
thing they changed was the routing number and information. They kept the email all the same, and at the bottom of every email, it said they didn't even change the warning. It said it says like, call us before you do any kind of wire information. The client, trusting where the email is coming from, blindly wired that money. Now my client had to eat that, and they also had to go through the legal process. So they're when you have a breach from that perspective, and your data, client information gets exposed, you have to disclose that.
Right.
So if you have 6,000 clients, now all of a sudden you're 6,000 clients.
Yeah, and I get those emails all the time from Wells Fargo or whoever. I see them like, hey, your day may or may not have. It's like, no, that means it definitely was.
But still trust us that you with all of your money. Yeah. So it's as you're a small business owner. Like think of us as a small business owner of having some sort of breach where either your information was held ransom or somebody in your staff inappropriately transferred financial information because they have access to it, or finances, dollars out.
Sure.
Or you were the reason one of your clients got duped because you were hacked.
Right.
And just just think of the challenge and sleepless nights you would have if that happened.
Oh yeah.
And
those are devastating. I think one bad click or one bad email could shut you down, dude.
I've given some presentations. It's funny you say that. I've done some presentations where my whole premise was one click. Like all it takes is one click.
Yeah.
One click for someone to get into your computer, your systems, your email, and you're donezo.
Yeah, the scary part of what you said, and I never considered, is that they sit there and they wait.
That's like the newer. That's not newer because it's been going on for a while. Sure. But that's just think about it. If once they're in and you don't know,
right?
Like they can sit and wait for and watch for the opportune time. If you're the one in charge of billing, you're gonna wait, dude.
Yeah.
Like Justin's getting ready because based on the project that I've seen, Justin's getting ready to send this. $20,000 invoice,
right.
And I'm just going to send it on his behalf right now from his email address. Right. The client looks like from historically the client pays it like right away.
Right.
Cool, easy money, low hanging fruit. Yeah, it's scary stuff. And we, as the IT provider, we have tools that help minimize exposure. So if you're talking about email, right, we monitor email environments for 24/7, right? And we get simple. There's a much more sophisticated but simple example.
Sure.
If you're working here in Florida, right, and all of a sudden randomly your email account gets logged in Germany, and tomorrow morning at 2 a.m.,
right,
our tools say, "Whoa,
yeah,
that's not like Justin."
Yeah. Unlikely.
Yeah. And we don't have any.
We've noticed an anomaly.
Right. So in a lot of cases, it automatically shuts down. So that way, because it only takes minutes to sync your emails and everything, somebody's got all your information.
Sure.
Right. So it automatically shuts down your account and notifies us to alert you and communicate with you.
And so if that happens in the middle of the night, then first thing next morning, you're like, hey.
Exactly.
And then change password. Is it?
There's a little bit. Yeah. I mean, obviously, that's an obvious. Yes, that's an obvious. But we also investigate why and how.
Sure.
And if we can deem any other issues, but yeah, it's an automatic password reset.
But dude, with AI, imagine it's getting crazy sophisticated, and also, the way that they can mirror or mimic or clone voices, and now you're getting these I've heard these stories about people getting these voice calls, and they're telling everybody like your family should have a secret word.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, Dad,
Susie's in an accident.
Hey, I'm in college. You got kids in college. Say, hey, Dad, I got arrested. I need you to send me $1,500 or whatever.
Yeah.
And Dad's like, cool. And it's like, what? No, I'm not gonna get arrested, right? So like that's happening too, which is nuts.
That's scary, isn't it?
It's super scary. I was working at it was like my first agency job, right? It was my second agency job, and I was climbing the ranks. And I was making a couple bucks. And I'm on set one day, and I get a phone call, and it's the IRS. And I was like, okay. I was like, hey, guys, I'll be right back. I got to take this, right? And I went outside, and they're just like, hey, cops are en route to your location now. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you owe back taxes. And they knew the amount. I knew the amount because I just talked to the accountant. I'm like, I'm going to furlough. Can we push that back? And she's like, no, we got to pay for that. Like, can we delay that payment? She's going to start fucking, garnishing your wages. I was like, oh, shit.
Right.
Anyway, so I knew I owed money. So that part was true, okay? They knew the amount. And essentially it was like, I'm like, what do you mean they're going to come? I'm like, I'm at work. They're like, yeah, we know you're at work. And they knew they knew the work business. I mean, it was very specific.
Yeah. They did their research.
I didn't know that the IRS doesn't call. They send a letter.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Right.
That wasn't no one taught me that in high school. That wasn't a conversation I had with my parents. That don't worry, the IRS is going to send a letter. Yeah. So I'm like, shit, I'm at work. This is going to be embarrassing. I'm going to lose my job. I owe this fucking money. I had some money in my bank account. So they asked the question like, well, what can you pay today? And I was like, I could pay like $2,500. And they were like, all right, get in your car. There's an IRS office, and this was in Largo, right? There's an IRS office, up the street. I was like, okay. So I went to my boss and I said, hey, man, I have an emergency I have to take care of. I'm so sorry to do this. I'll be back in an hour. And he was just like, yeah, man, shit happens. Go. Now I'm on set. I'm a director of a commercial.
Right.
Now, thankfully, it was B-roll. It wasn't like a massive day with huge celebrity talent. It was like some B-roll day. But it was like, I'm on set. My boss steps in to help me out. I had somebody cover for me, and I get in the car. And by the way, they're like, don't hang up. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm like hitting mute the whole time. Right.
Right.
So now I'm getting in my car,
right.
and then I put it on mute, and I'm driving, and my heart, and I'm like, fuck. And then I take it off mute, and I'm like, okay, where am I going there? Okay, head down, Ulmerton. Okay, how far? Like, what's the address? And they're just like, okay, we'll give you the address. And they did. So I put it in GPS, and it's in like this Largo Mall area, right? And I'm like, okay, and it kind of made sense to me because it was kind of corporate-y. It was like a big giant plaza,
right?
But there was like a fucking Longhorns, and there was a Target, and there was like a UPS, and there's all this shit. So I was like, okay, it's feasible,
right?
There might be a satellite, a satellite IRS office.
IRS is everywhere,
right?
Gotta be
fucking right, So I get into the parking lot, and I'm looking around, and finally I just park, and I'm in the Target, but I'm in the Target parking lot, but I can see all the adjoining businesses, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm here, I don't see it, and they're like, what do you see? I was like, I see a Target, I see a. They're like, go inside the Target, and I'm literally sitting there, and now I'm like, you mother. I'm like, you're telling me the IRS is inside the Target? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, uh-huh. And I opened up my car door and slammed it closed. Okay. And I was like, okay, I'm walking in. Now I'm inside the Target. Now what do I do? And she was like, okay, you need to go to the customer service line. And I was like, you sons of
right.
So I was like, okay, I'm at the counter. Now what? And they're like, all right, you need to get a bunch of gift cards. And that's when I was like, listen, you mother. I can't believe you. Right. I'm gonna lose my job. I was like, I hope he's. I said a really colorful thing.
Right.
And embarrassingly drove back to work and didn't tell anybody that story for a few days. And then I told them, they were like, yeah, you're an idiot. Like, why would you should have said something. We told you to hang up on that person.
Right.
So these things do happen.
This is good conversation because it's actually, we talked about the people being the most vulnerable piece of your business typically.
Yeah.
And current, like that might change tomorrow. But, we provide security awareness training, which if most people nowadays have been exposed to, and it's routine. It's typically one of two things, or it's typically both. The phishing emails, like we all get we all get garbage in our email addresses, and we purposely send out fake phishing emails that are phishing for you to click a link and fill out information, and test the clients, test their 15. You said the 15 people earlier, test everybody in the environment.
Oh, so you'll send out faux malicious ones just to say, hey.
Yeah,
dude, you jacked up.
Yeah,
bro.
and if you're the point of if you're the person who wants to review that in the company, like the owner or whoever it is, you'll get an actual report. So you'll kind of see where people either
whether they
deleted it, opened it, they clicked the link, they filled out information after clicking the link. That's after they get to that point, they realize, because they get a notice saying, hey, like DigitalBrainz, like you needed contact, like you're blah blah blah.
DigitalBrainz, you have none, you failed miserably.
Right.
You should log out and just go home. Take the rest of the day.
Right. Yeah. Prepare to have weeks of education coming your way.
You failed.
Yeah. And then we have.
I like that you do that though. Let's talk about what are the scariest things that have you seen some attacks or some actors or maybe some new technology with AI where you're like, holy shit, dude. Like we as DigitalBrainz as a company, we need to step it up. We need to train. And you said you go to these conferences, you're constantly what's happening, what's coming out. Is there stuff with AI that you're going like, uh-oh?
okay, so old school. Old school, right? Used to be like, hey, make sure your password has 8 characters and
Some special characters,
et cetera, et cetera. Well, nowadays, you talked about the social engineering. Social engineering came, and they had to physically do the research.
Right.
I got to go look up Justin on social media. What are his interests? Like, then I'm like, oh, now I got to find his phone number. Now I got to call him. Now I got,
Right.
But now, that can be automated.
And just running 24/7.
So I think now
cracking codes.
Yeah, I think now it's just like how quickly and if more efficient we can be in business. That's exactly what the bad actors are doing.
Right.
And they're not going away. They're always going to be there. Because it's interesting. Like I sat in a, and I'm hoping I'm gonna repeat this correctly. I sat in a presentation where the guy did a lot of work for the government, FBI, et cetera. And he was explaining that other countries, Korea was one of them, and he said, well, other countries encourage their citizens to attack countries like the U.S., and they're funded.
North Korea, I hope.
North Korea.
Okay,
sorry.
South.
Yeah, sorry.
Not our homies in the South.
Right. Not our homies in the South.
Don't talk about K-pop.
No.
Big K-pop.
No, like he was explaining basically. He obviously couldn't share a ton, but he was explaining the process. Like they're required to have 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And part of those jobs are pretending to be U.S. workers in big, large corporations, pretending to be U.S. citizens.
Right.
They'll have like a farm of, if you had a house, like just an empty house, you'd have 20 computers sitting there. They would log into those computers and pretend like they were a remote worker in the United States.
Right.
And through that, whatever company that they're with becomes vulnerable because now, whatever stage they are or whatever level they're at in that company, they have access to that data or information. So it's just
interesting.
It's very scary.
Yeah. Damn, dude. So then what scares you more? Is it the hackers or is it, again, you've brought up the people, internal sloppiness.
Yeah.
What scares you more? Is it the internal, like
dude, it's internal.
Bozo stuff? It's bozo stuff.
It's internal.
Yeah.
And that's why education's important.
Right.
You educate your clients on your value.
How easy is it to onboard you guys?
So we're all about relationships, man. Yeah. And we want you to make a decision to come with us, to partner with us, because there's that trust factor and, the relationship you feel can last a long period of time. And we put that into our onboarding process too. So onboarding process usually completely takes like a month.
Dude, man, you've been super great and gracious with your time. I appreciate you. If you're out there, you have a small business, and you're listening to this and you think you're too small to be targeted, you're wrong. They're targeting everybody. And and I would even argue if you're a small business, you're exactly who they're targeting, and they're targeting your employees. So education's a big one. Make sure you reach out to DigitalBrainz for any of that stuff. AI is super powerful. Technology is powerful, but power without governance is reckless. I wrote that.
I like that. I appreciate that. I agree.
Yeah. But seriously, if you're building anything right now, make sure you're building it responsibly. Make sure that you're protecting your clients, especially if you handle a lot of client information. Brad, if people want to find out more about DigitalBrainz, this is your camera right here. Tell them where to go, buddy.
All right, just go to digitalbrainz.com, digitalbrainz with a Z.com, and you can actually schedule an appointment to chat with me on that. It's probably the best way of accessing us.
Right. Brad Savage. Remember, he's not in a band, but if he was, it would be a punk rock band from the UK.
That's right.
DigitalBrainz. All right. That's actually the name of the band. Oh,
dang.
Brad Savage.
And with the Savage.
These are my mates, DigitalBrainz.
We went in the wrong industry, dude.
Well, listen, it's not too late to start.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Thank you guys so much for watching the show. If you liked it, please hit that like and share and subscribe. All the things you got to do. There's usually buttons that pop up right around this area, and then you can click the next episode over here. It might be over here. I don't know where we put it. But thank you guys for watching. We'll hear you on the next one. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one.